All right, you all, and we are back like we said we will be. And I am really super excited to talk about this girl. Like, okay, you don't play me. Also, y'all shout out if y'all listening visually, if y'all are hearing this, looking at this visually, I have a new tattoo. I have a peace sign. And then I have another tattoo right here that says I am enough. You know, my motivation. I'll be having the tattoo quotes and
Said peace.
affirmations on
Did you
me.
mean power?
Did I say peace?
You did say peace.
Bitch,
I feel
damn.
like your brain said power. That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
power, because I did this. That's the reason. So I have a power sign on my wrist, and it is mean to say I control myself, I'm in power, and then I am enough. So I'm putting all these affirmations all over my body, girl, that I need to believe into it, because these men be stressing me out, okay? And this is why I really, really wanted to talk to you about this, sister, because we have our banters about this, and I know y'all listen to us come on this show and talk about these men's all the time, most of the time, and it's just like
every time you say men.
men's is. And it's just so funny because I always like, I really don't trust these men and these niggas. And I know a lot of y'all don't either, specifically in the queer community, because these men are not a one of a kind. These niggas is just one whack away from being in an insane asylum.
What do they say, a dime a dozen?
No. Yes, dime a dozen, girl. These niggas are trash. But we wanted to get into it and have a ball. But I first wanted to get into our personal experiences. Can you like talk about a time where like you had a significant issue with trusting a nigga in your past relationship, girl?
Absolutely.
Oh, me too, bitch.
Let me just pull out the...
Let me pull out my receipts, honey. It's bad.
Right
that
here.
one.
Okay. So trust has come up for me, but not because of infidelity, because there is no bitch that I'm going to be like, yeah.
Okay. That part.
I have been with men who will not tell me the full truth.
Yes.
And the issue is that I am very observant and even more inquisitive. I've talked ad nauseum about how curious I am. So I'm gonna be asking questions. I dated a guy when I first moved to New Orleans, and I thought he was so beautiful, super charismatic, tall. I was just like, wow, I found my dream man. I know that those are all really superficial things, but I was just like really into him. But I started paying attention to the fact that, like, for instance, I was working 3 jobs, and on my way to job number 2, I noticed he was never really getting up for job number 1.
Oh.
And he would talk about like what he was going to be doing for the day, and it was like some kind of work, but like it never really involved either clocking in or like going to an office or going to the field to do this thing that like he knew he was getting paid for. It was all this sort of like loose things, right? And then he also happened to be staying in a home that didn't belong to him, which I thought like, oh, okay, like this is a friend. And I quickly came to learn was like, oh, this person may not have stable housing because the friend wasn't in the house while they were there. They told me they were house sitting. So thing after thing kind of happened, and it became clear to me that this individual was not giving me the full story.
Yeah.
And as time kind of passed, I started to realize how I was being affected by their instability. And I asked them questions about it, and they never gave me the full truth. And then it kind of all came to a head when they left their phone unlocked on my bed.
Ooh.
And I just so happened to see a text message come in from the friend. And I don't make a habit of going through people's things.
I do.
But I absolutely saw the thread and saw that like they were not being honest with that person. They had destroyed their home. And I asked questions about that prior to seeing these messages, and they were like, "Oh, it's fine." He was like, "Oh, it's fine. Like it's nothing." And because I'm like, "You left her home like in disarray."
Ooh.
And finding out that my observation was correct, she was hurt. She was furious, and it just meant nothing to him. So I saw him as a person who number one, didn't respect other people's spaces, even though they were gracious enough to offer it to him. And number two, as a person who would evade the truth or directly lie to me. And it had quickly tarnished all of this like otherworldly like excitement and butterflies I had for him. And suddenly I was like, wow, this nigga's a liar.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that has made me really weary about men who talk a good game, especially here, because a lot of niggas in New Orleans, anyone will tell you this.
Yeah.
They know how to talk, honey. They got the vocab, honey.
They got the vocab.
They can string together a cute couple of sentences to really get you, but you got to look a little deeper. And I have a magnifying glass to anybody who calls themselves a man that want to be up in my face.
Okay, listen, I bitch these bifocals. I see times 4. Okay, like that's the same thing for me. As like I've experienced since I've been in the DMV that niggas don't really lean into what they don't tell the truth, and they will lie religiously. Like
Men
it
lie.
is just crazy how you're in my only. I've the early stages of it is what blows me is like you don't need to lie in the beginning because you don't know me, you don't owe anything to me, so why are you immediately lying straight up? Like I just get confused on like, and I think for me it's always about like I think I've always had issues with guys like, what do you really want? You know, like what are you really leaning into? Because like the issue with me, and I'm not gonna say it's an issue, is like I tell you what I want. I want a relationship, I want a partner, I want something that could be something that is more. And then you say, oh, I want the same thing as well, whoop de whoop de whoop, but your actions never lean into that.
Gotta
You
pay
do
attention.
you do not communicate, you do not initiate, you don't reassure, you don't like lean into it. And then when I say, hey, this is a boundary of mine, or this is something that's happened, it's like, oh well, I never said I wanted that, and you're forcing this on me. And it's like, girl, no, I did not force it on you. I asked you from the beginning. I'm a very consensual man. And it just blows me. What you about to say, sister?
Them niggas be gaslighting you. I forgot that your experience is that these niggas be trying to gaslight you.
It's that, but then also they don't tell, they lie. Because I've seen a nigga literally be like talking to multiple guys and be still like hanging out with like wanting to date exclusively. Which is my issue is like, if you want to date exclusively, I should not be knowing or seeing you when we're together. You're always texting somebody.
They want you to date exclusively, so they don't want you talking to anyone else.
They don't know. I've had somebody tell me that they do not want me to talk to nobody else, but they should be still able to talk to somebody else because it's not that deep. Which I was like, whoa. But that wasn't exclusive. That was just like in like the process of getting to know somebody. When I was dating somebody exclusively, they were talking to other people, which is a insecurity of mine, and I'll be very 100. Like I sometimes don't think high of myself, so I think that like this person is doing something I am not able to do, so I'm trying to compete. When I realize like I can never compete with somebody when I don't have, it's not fair. You know, it's like not right.
And any nigga who's going to make you compete is not a nigga you need to be with. I wish a motherfucker would. Devery, I'm not being funny. Like, I am crazy. I do not play games with these niggas. I'm not. Or, how about this? Because the truth is, if a nigga thinks he's going to play games with me, I'm going to fucking win.
Oh, here's the thing. My Aries kicks in here. And that's the thing. I tell these niggas, like, I am very subdued. I am a man of competition. I'm a man of pettiness. Like, I have no problem doing a get back when I don't respect you. Like, if I do respect you, I will not do that. But if I don't respect you, like, I will literally tell you, I, like, don't fuck with you. Like, or I would just, like, literally leave you on red. I will never respond. I'm like, to complete that game, like, I'm the same way. But I think it's for me, is like, I love love. And the thing about me is like, I'm quick to say it first. I'm quick to initiate things. But then my thing is like, I start to be weary because I'm like, okay, you are not showing up. You keep saying that you're coming over, but you don't. You say that you like can't hang out with me because you're hanging out with another nigga, which I'm not still, because I have friends in every area and they can definitely tell me, because I'll send my friends. Here's the thing. I send my friends niggas so that they could keep their ear to the streets. Okay? Like, I need you to know what my man is doing when I'm not around, because I don't trust him. So if I trust you, it's different. And I think for me is once you show me that I can trust you, then I will be okay. But I like at this point, I need a clingy man. I need a man that wants to be up under me 25-8, because I'm insecure now, because I don't understand what you men are doing now, because y'all are wrong.
I don't know about that.
I listen. My ex, I ain't gonna lie, was clingy, which I liked at first, but then I was like, girl, it's getting too clingy. It's like
because that's usually an indication of like some other issue there.
it's trying to manipulate.
Need no nigga trying to be up under me 24/7.
Yeah.
What I really want is a man who wants to be with me at an appropriate amount of time, who recognizes that I'm a busybody with ADHD.
Yeah.
So I am going to be all over the place, but who like fits into those cracks, those seams, those like who fits into either wants to do the things that I'm doing with me or like recognizes that like Devin likes to do a lot of things. So I'm gonna do those things with him, you know?
Same. I think it's the same for me. It's like I'm a very much busy person as well. You know my schedule. Like I'm doing something. And I need you to know that like I'm not doing anything. If like one thing about me is I don't cheat. I'm allergic. Like I can't even like do multiple niggas at a time. Like I just cannot. So if I'm like busy, I'm literally busy. Like I'm literally not able to text. I'm able not to call. But I will let you know that before. Like I will let you know, like, hey, for an hour, I'm not gonna be able to text you. I'll text you when I get done. Just because like I want to ease the anxieties, because sometimes it happens with me is like I've had guys like tell me they'll text me and then I won't hear from them for 3 days. And then I'm like, well, or I'll be like, hey, let's go on a date. And then they'll be like, sure. And I'm like, when? Like, so I get that. But like, I want to ask you, like, what does trust mean to you in a queer relationship specifically? Like, I mean, that's the only thing we've been doing, girl. But like, what does trust mean in that regard?
Okay, so I think at that point that I'm trusting you, right? I am it twofold. I am willing to be vulnerable with you and tell you my full truth. And I trust that you will handle it appropriately. That even if it makes you feel away, right, you will communicate that to me in a way that still makes me feel safe. And that we'll be able to work through that together. Mm-hmm. It looks like when you say things to me, I will take them at like face value, and I will take them for what they are instead of second guessing it or feeling like I need to pay close attention to what you do after that to make sure that the story adds up. Because if 1 + 1 don't equal 2, I'm pulling out the magnifying glass and I'm going to figure out where did the fraction fracture.
Yeah. I'm exactly the same way. I think for me, it's when you are intentional with what you're saying, you're communicative, very from the jump and get going. Its actions are speaking louder than words. I mean, sorry, your actions are aligning with your words. That's what I think is very truthful. Is like, you don't have to be perfect, you don't have to, but you have to allow me to know what I'm getting myself into so that I have the opportunity to decide if I want to invest in this or not. I think what I've noticed is guys will hide things because they want to control and manipulate how things are going for them. But the issue is there's 2 people in this motherfucking relationship. So if I don't have the full story, I can't make a full assessment of if this is something that I am willing to invest in. And I think that is the issue that I've had so many times is I always tell people this is like, nobody's obligated to you, but the right person will want to let you know what's going on because they don't want to hurt you.
That's right.
So you have to be able to show that like, it might be not perfect. It might not be the best, but I want to let you know this so that you can make the most honest decision for yourself, because I don't want to mislead you. I don't want to lead you in this. Very interesting. I heard niggas always be like, well, I didn't know when was the right time to tell you. Well, good or bad, it was going to be bad. So the longer you hold on to this, the longer I'm going to be hurt because I'm going to be like, what was going on? So I feel like to me, it's like being intentional with what you're saying, being honest, and making sure everything that you do aligns. If you say that you want to talk to me, you want to hang out with me, but I don't hear from you, that you don't plan dates, I'm going to be like, I don't trust what you're saying, because if you want to hang out with me, why haven't you took the initiative? It needs to align so that I could be understanding like, oh, okay, this makes sense. But if it doesn't, I'm like trying to fucking put pieces together, and it's like, that's not my job.
I appreciate you for saying that, because my truth is that I too love love. I love the idea of being in love. I listen to Cassette Michelle's "Be in Love" from her Better album whenever I want to inspire myself to be in love. right?
Yeah.
Like, I do love the idea of connecting with someone on a genuine level, sharing my life with them, having someone to talk to at the end of my day or when things are difficult, and like really wholeheartedly giving myself over to someone who is giving themselves to me.
Yeah.
But the reality of the matter is I've met a number of men who have contributed to this building of a wall that, like, at this point, I'm not sure can calm down. I don't think
Yeah.
I'm completely jaded, but I do, like, my whole thing about like not trusting a nigga or not trusting a man, that is some real shit. Like,
Yeah.
I'm genuinely, I've found no reason to do so. And when a
I've
man
found no reason
isn't
to trust a
telling
man.
me the full truth at the beginning, I'm not asking anyone to spill their whole life story upon
No.
meeting them, right? But when I see you actively hiding things, it makes it really difficult for me to want to get close to you, because in my mind, you are trying to manipulate me, and I
Yeah.
can't make a conscious decision. I don't feel free, and I don't feel like I have the full agency to like really participate in my romantic and dating life if I don't have the facts.
No, and that's true. And I also want to note, because people sometimes say this, cheating. I mean, trust is reckless in both relationships, gay, straight, non-binary, all that. People be like, "Oh, what's the difference?" It's really not. It's actually worse because it's two men, and we're not trusting each other. So we're really in the space of like, who goes. Actually, I think that what I could say might differ is we are both playing this game of who's going to show their cards and how are you going to respond to it.
That's right. That's right.
That's
Because we
what it is.
contribute. We contribute. I know that I have gotten into the habit of giving people my representative, and my representative is not a liar. Like,
Yeah.
I will never lie about who I am. But my representative has the wall up. So
Yep.
like, you're getting pleasant me, right? You're getting like emotionally disconnected me. So
Yeah.
I'm going to be very observant. I'm not really like, but I'm always waiting for the moment when I actually see the man saying, inviting me right in. And it's like, okay, this is who I am. So that I can be like, oh, okay, well, let me set my
Yeah.
representative down and be like, oh, okay, now we're actually connecting. I'm waiting for the rapport to come, right?
Yeah.
And if I don't ever really get that moment, then you just get like surface me.
Yeah. And I think it's because and I'm like, so who catches the bait first? That's the thing that I always am curious about is who leans into their vulnerable side and who is able to do it and not be hurt by the other person's reaction. I think about that a lot because I speak for myself is I have no problem leaning into it, but I get hurt when I walk away and be like, you think you got that off. And it's the mindset of reframing that this person has no power. I own my power.
Yeah.
Boom. But it's the mindset of like, you did not show up as your authentic self when I leaned into it. And I think it's something that I've seen as a challenge in a lot of queer relationships. And we can ask each other what are some common ones. It's you are consistently feeling like you're chopping at like an ice wall or a brick wall. And it's like, I am tired. Like, is this my job to try to poke at this wall or poke at this thing when it's just like, I can't give all myself when you're not giving me anything to even rehydrate myself with it. Like, I know it's a tug and pull, and I know we have trauma from society, from our issues of not being welcomed and accepted, but I feel like we should get to a point where we are letting each other feel safe and vulnerable to a T where it's, healthy. But I think some men have not been able to tap into their emotions to understand like it's okay to be vulnerable because it sheds light.
I think you're right. I think that is true. But I also recognize that some people are just not a safe space. And my thing is I'm walking around with a significant level of fear when it comes to men, for a number of reasons. The number of domestic violence situations in the queer community is higher than I would have expected, right?
Yeah.
That people feel like, oh, because I'm a man dating a man, violence in this relationship is normal, and it's not.
Yeah.
And that violence is not normal in any romantic relationship. And that violence can also just be like verbal, right? Like it can just be hateful speech or someone trying to manipulate you regularly to take power or control over you. And it's not that I think that I am easily taken advantage of, but it is true that I have a fear that the person I choose to be vulnerable with will choose to then use that vulnerability to manipulate me.
Yeah.
And people are really good at holding up that representative to do just that. So it isn't even really that I'm afraid of being myself because of rejection. People reject things about me all the time. Sometimes rejection is scary to me. Don't get me wrong. There are situations when the stakes are super high. Rejection is terrifying, especially if we're talking about like acting and things like that, or like when it comes to the craft things I've worked really hard at.
Yeah.
But like, it's not so much. It's not more often that I'm afraid to be myself with these men. It is that I am afraid that letting them in will give them access to take power over me in a way I don't feel comfortable with. And if men were more trustworthy in general, that wouldn't be true. Or more specifically, if my experiences hadn't been that way, then that wouldn't be true.
I think I totally agree. I think my past experiences, I've been in relationships that have been verbally abusive, mentally abusive, emotionally, threats of physical, bitch, because a girl can never, a girl can never beat me. But the fact that you thought that you could, I lose trust. The thought that you feel like you could say these things to manipulate, and I lose trust because I think it makes me even guarded against the next guy.
Yes,
because I think of my mindset is when is this honeymoon phase going to be over? When is the real you going to show up? And I think what I've began to notice and see is in order for you to see somebody's true potential, you have to put them in a space for them to show that.
Absolutely.
You can't just be doing these surface level dates. You can't be asking these surface level conversations. You have to ask the questions of how did your last relationship end? What did you learn about it? What are tendencies or patterns that you notice? Like, you got to ask these questions because it will give you a perspective. Now, what I will say is niggas will lie in any case, but you have to take what they're giving you and use that to process and make your own decision. And look at the patterns. Like, okay, he's saying that, he likes to communicate and he looks for communication, but he don't text. He doesn't call you. He doesn't text. He waits for you to say it. You have to be like, I don't trust that. But I think for me, as my past relationships, I've always felt like when I showed up or allowed myself to be vulnerable, this is when they could be that way because they didn't do it. So now they're like, oh, I can use this against Devery. And I'm like, no, I'm very smart. I'm doing it to see what you're going to do with my information. I'm not telling you everything in the beginning, by all means. I'm going to tell you what is comfortable enough for a boundary and comfortable enough for me to get in to see how will you respond to that, to know if you're somebody I can trust. And it's not a game. It is me setting boundaries. Bitch, you playing a game over here. She's playing a game.
It feels like one sometimes. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'd rather not. Not. I would honestly rather just like throw caution to the wind and just be like, "Wow, I'm really enjoying time with this man." But like history has told me that that's like not the way to do it. And so like I have this innate desire to kind of control the experience by having things move and really slowly, regimented, and in these like public spaces and doing specific activities that like really facilitate talking with each other and me learning information about the man versus just feeling through it. And I've heard people say like enjoy getting to know a person, but like I'm just kind of tired of meeting bullshit ass men who like either aren't really that interesting or who are trying to get me to get to know a lie.
Yeah. I think that's true. I think I've been having to lean into getting to know somebody and taking time instead of my relationships have been very fast. My last relationship, it was 2 months and we were together. Yeah. Like, I am learning that like you do have to take time to build that trust up and to, trust I always believe is earned, not given.
That's right.
Okay. So like if it takes you 5 months to trust this person, but you're showing that you're wanting to open up gradually, then by all means. But I do believe that like if this person is worth you investing in, and it's worth because they're mutually pouring in and letting their guard down. It is something that I do believe is how you build trust, because we have our traumas that have made us the way that we are, but you have to allow, and that's why I say this podcast, we want to allow, create, and maintain, because we don't have the power. We want to give you the power that you own and have, so that you can do what you want with that space. So I think is you have to build it, but you have to give that person patience. But you have to see that if that person is willing to lean into it. Now, if that person is not willing to lean into it, that is not the man that you want to be with. That is a red flag, because you're going to be running into a damn wall the entire time.
Yeah, I will tell you that every man that I've spent a considerable amount of time with, I've given them chance after chance to correct the issue by just waiting to see if they would be interested in correcting it. If they would, like, while we were interacting with each other, if they would take the steps to acknowledging their own trauma, their own, pain, and work toward it, because then I would have a little bit more patience. But I've met men who have convinced themselves, who are operating solely in the ego, and have convinced themselves that either their childhood issues are not worth dealing with, or maybe they're too afraid. And my biggest fear with any man, any romantic partner, is that their failure to acknowledge their own insecurities and their own trauma will result in me being their victim.
Yes.
That will then mean you will take all of that anger, you will take all of that trauma, and you will dump it on me. I will be the person who gets all of the emotional backlash, because
and that's
I've
not
allowed
fair.
myself to be closest to you, and it isn't fair. And if I can't have a conversation with you about that trauma, show you how it's impacting me, and then you say, oh, damn, I fucked up, let me go work on that. Then what are we doing? Because what you want is a punching bag. That you can fuck on.
Oof, not a punching bag you can fuck on, girl. You can't technically, you're not supposed to do that. Look, technically that ain't possible. But niggas think they can do that. I totally agree. I think that, like, I don't want to be carrying a burden. I don't want it to be my responsibility to be your therapist, your punching bag, your emotional weight. Like, I didn't come into this relationship to be that. I tell people, I remind you to be happy. I am not your source of happiness.
Yes.
Okay. So, like, when I leave, your happiness should not be gone. When I am there, I shouldn't be filled with all of your sorrow, misery, and all that, because I am a human as well, and it's very draining, and it's a lot. And I think that we sometimes misinterpret that in relationships, because we feel like this person is, the end all be all, the, like, person that has let me, exist. But it's like, you have that power. You are trying to put it onto somebody else because you're using an excuse to not lean into yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what I think. And I also want to know, like, I know I spoke about some things that I believe is like early conversations that you should have, but what are your thoughts, or what are some conversations that you believe should be held early on in a relationship to start to build a healthy relationship with trust?
I'm starting to understand that one of the first conversations, especially as I approach 30, is like, what are you looking for in a relationship? Like, and how, like, what are your long-term kind of goals? Because now we're looking at what life is going to be looking like. And if you're going to tell me that you're just vibing, that you're just trying to, see what somebody else got going on, and you have no long-term issue, I already know you don't align with what I got going on, because I want a life partner. I want a long-term partner. I want someone to do life with, not someone to kind of like have sex with here and there and like smoke weed with, and I don't smoke weed, but just like kind of bullshit with. That's not really what I'm looking for. I don't really need to vibe out, not at my big age.
Vibe out. Woo. Woo.
So that's one of the things. Talking about our relationship with our emotions. I want to talk a little bit about, and maybe this is too much for the first date, right? But like in those first couple of months, I want to talk about like anger, right? Like I want to talk about some of the things you do to self-soothe, because I'm looking for indicators that you can regulate yourself. That you, when in a difficult emotional space, know how to soothe yourself, how to control yourself, and how to cope and function in your own life, and that you're not looking for a partner who will do that work for you. Because that's not your partner's job. A lot of men have been sold a lie, a lot of heterosexual men or men who date women have been sold a lie that it is the woman's responsibility to do those things for them. I had a conversation with my barber about
It's not
this.
at all.
He was like, yeah, she's supposed to. And I was like, well, you expect her to do her own emotional work, be her own emotional support, and then turn around and do it for you as well?
That's not
Does
right.
that sound fair?
Yeah.
What are you offering? Penis?
Money?
Like, and he was my barber, so I mean, I don't.
You ain't got that much.
Yeah, okay, not enough to support an entire woman.
Two people.
More. I don't know. Yeah, okay. So I'm like, you can't be thinking that your manhood alone is enough to sustain a woman carrying her emotional load and yours while you're just like, whoa.
Yeah.
So that I have that same expectation. Like, I don't think that being a man means being emotionally like illiterate. You know, I think that, like, if anything, as a man, you have a duty to know and be able to control yourself and to be curious enough about how to manage your own emotional world.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I do 100% agree with that. And I think that it is, I think with women, I say that, like, behind closed doors, you can have the experience of seeing a man be vulnerable and, show up as his authentic self, but that is not your job. You are never the one to be like, I have to, like, he's gonna, no, because men, we should take the time to learn that on our own as well, so that this woman can get the best you, or this guy can get the best you, or this person. Like, it shouldn't be like this person's job, because it's draining. And then, like, it takes the joy and fun out of, like, learning somebody, when I'm only learning that, like, you are very difficult to navigate without me, or you are very navigate, like, I have to pull at you or put in so much work that, like, I no longer want to invest in you.
That's
like,
on top of adulting,
yes.
working, dealing with life's like minor and major inconveniences, and then I have to come home and manage your emotional world on top of mine.
And I think what I want to transition into is, I think that's where boundaries play a part in trust. I think that is the most essential part of establishing trust, is placing boundaries on the person, because it gives you a clear indication of, this is what I will not deal with, this is not what I will do, and I will move on. I'm giving you the opportunity. I'm telling you up front, I don't deal with this. This is not something that I'm okay with. And if you break that trust, this is why. This is why I'm removing myself, because you broke my trust, because you did what I told you not to do. And absolutely. I think oftentimes people are afraid to place boundaries because they're afraid of people's responses to you creating a boundary, which is, if they are, first of all, boundaries equals healthy communication.
That's right.
I don't care what people say. Like, you have to have a parameter. You have to have a comfort zone. You have to have a level, because if there's no boundaries, unlimited issues can arise, because it's so all over the place. Like, everybody doesn't like everything. Everybody's not okay with everything. Like, and that is okay. But you have to be able to be clear in what your boundaries are, realistic in what your boundaries are, and also be consistent in what your boundaries are. 1 minute I can't be like, I don't want you texting somebody, and then the other day I'm like, well, maybe you could text somebody, or I don't want you to be cheating on me, but then it's like, well, maybe you could cheat on me, because it creates a space of, girl, I can do whatever the fuck I want, and you won't do anything. So I think we need to really be intentional with collaborating our boundaries and trust, because it is something that is essential. Like, for me, I tell people, like, I don't deal with emotional, physical, verbal, any of that, because I don't trust you after you feel like you can disrespect me and treat me like a child.
Period.
Like, I've said that in a lot of my relationships, they thought they ate that, but I ate that, because I said, what I told you was not what you're going to do. In all my relationships, I will honestly say, they know I didn't do anything wrong, because Devery said what he did not like, and I broke that trust, and therefore he walked away. And I think that, yes, now when I walk away, I'm like, bitch, I don't trust you now. I don't trust you. But it's like, I said this was a boundary of mine, and I'm not dealing with it. And I don't wish you ill will. I wish you healing. Like, I do. Because you think that that's cute to just disrespect boundaries, and it's not okay. But I just wanted to get into that little boundary and trust thing. And I don't know if you had anything about it, but I was just like, I eat that up.
No, when I think about all the men that I've dated since I've been here, I think that was the result of like the end of it was I set a boundary and I gave them a chance to either honor it or not, and they chose not to.
Yeah.
Well, at least most of them. One of them was just crazy.
Yeah.
So.
I don't want to get into dating apps because that is an issue and like in its own entity. And I like.
Oh yeah, I got plenty for you on that, so we can do that next. We can absolutely do that next. I'm so serious. I am so serious.
First of all, sis, just take it away, sis. I'm gonna let you eat this up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go,
First of all,
go.
Let me tell you one thing. Don't fucking message me when you don't have no picture. We want to talk about trust.
I don't. No pics, no talk.
Be bricks. They be like the shit be terrible, and like I don't like calling people ugly or unattractive, but like
hard.
Them people be like, oh, you're probably not gonna be attracted to me, so I'm gonna not have a profile picture, and then I'm gonna message you, and then I'm gonna act like I don't see you asking for a profile picture. I just don't respond to those.
I don't either.
I already told y'all. I've already told you that niggas will misrepresent themselves on these apps just to get you to your home. Do your research. Vet them niggas. Them niggas. Don't respond to nobody with no picture. Make them send you a picture. If they send you a disappearing photo of the face, don't do it.
Yeah. I also am the same way when niggas lie about like their like money and all that stuff like that. That's an issue to me is don't lie about like money. Don't lie about certain things because it's like if you don't got it, you don't got it. Don't try to
AI pictures. I don't want to see no pictures with no filters. If you send me a picture of you with the filter over your face, you're getting blocked.
Oh, delete it. Period. Like on these apps, when people hit me up and say things, I'm like, I don't have nothing to work off of. This is not Love Is Blind. Like I didn't sign up for it, and I'm not here for it. And I tell people that it's like I know society, like I always say, like I understand like Black queer like issues, challenges, like you want your safety, you're not completely out, you haven't invited people in. Like I respect that, I get that, but I'm not that girl because I am dealing with. I want a healthy foundation, I want a healthy relationship, I want stability. Like
I can't start a life with a nigga who not being honest about his.
Yeah, like I don't need you to be on a date and I realize like, oh, you actually are broke. And you should have told me you were broke or married. Oh, and I understand like, oh, I haven't been able to come out because my family, like I get it, but you're 30 and 40. Like I get it. Like, I'll be giving passes to our young 20 and 30-year-olds, I'll be giving passes. So I'm like, I get it. But when you get to a space where you are independent and you are making your own money, hopefully living at your own place, hopefully have your own car, hopefully, I think you should start to have some autonomy about like, this is what I'm doing. And I'm okay with it. Like, I'm not here to be playing these little kid games, okay? Like, I'm really not. And niggas be still wanting to do it at these big ass ages we are.
Headache. A fucking headache. Men give me a headache. They make my asshole itch.
Is, but I do want to go into, can you rebuild trust though with a man?
I don't know.
If trust is broken, can it be fully restored? And
you mean with like an individual?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I've never seen it done. I guess I've seen it done once, but I've seen infidelity happen, and I've seen it break up more than one marriage. I don't know. I really don't. I don't even have really a perspective about it. I'm not sure that my trust is easily won back, let alone won back at all.
I agree. I think for me is like I will forgive, but I won't forget. It depends. Like I said again, it depends on what it is and like my collection and the scenario. I think that it can be like restored, but it's like you have to understand why I'm so guarded because of what happened. Like you have to understand why I am very inquisitive about certain things because your past has showed me that you weren't going to be truthful about me. If I'm asking you, hey, what are you doing tonight? And you're avoiding the conversation and it's because you're with a nigga, I'm going to be weary that like, if I ask you that and you don't respond, you're doing exactly what you did. I think that it's the person, what steps need to be taken is the person needs to lean in and be honest and understand that it's going to take time and they're going to have to be patient to restore that person's trust and be intentional with wanting to rebuild it. I don't think it's the person that was hurt's problem. I think it's the person that hurt the person that needs to be honest and straightforward and be like, I hurt you. I I need actions. I think that's what the thing for me is. I do need actions. I do need you to be like, I'm in therapy, like I am working on something, I'm doing these things to, and I know it won't happen overnight, but I'm just trying to show you that I'm being intentional with like letting you know that this won't happen again, and that and also naming that I hurt you. Like I lied. I apologize. I will name that. This is why I lied, but it's not an excuse. And this is what I need you to do moving forward.
I think it's so difficult for me because I'm not afraid of getting hurt. I think getting hurt is inevitable. My family has hurt me. I've hurt my family. Friends have hurt me. I've hurt friends. It is what we do to each other. We harm one another. But being a coward and not telling me the truth is going to affect me in a much worse way than just telling me I am attracted to this person and I don't know, like, you know, I'm like, okay, now I have to deal with that, right? But like we said earlier today, if I have the facts, right, then I have agency. But when you lie to me and that leads to infidelity or whatever, you're taking my power, you're taking my agency, you're taking my ability to make the next steps. But like if you have a problem, then we can figure that out together, however difficult. But like I don't want to be in a relationship that's based on lies. I want to be in one that is like where we're facing truth together, because that is, I believe, how you build intimacy. And like breaking my trust is I don't know that it's something that I could easily or like at all come back from. I just don't know. I don't know it in practice. I have not been able to. So I don't know.
I want to say I appreciate you being transparent. I think that is okay. That is the human thing, is you don't know the steps, that you don't know the steps because it's something that you have to go through. And I think that's honest. I think for me is I 100% agree with you, is I believe like once you do those type of things to me and you try to take my power away, I don't feel safe anymore. And I don't feel uh, that I'm allowing myself to be vulnerable and I'm not being genuine, because I have this like this such reserve for like, you didn't even respect me enough to be honest. And I think that to me, it makes me scared and sad, because I was like, I'm just like, damn, like, I really like you, or I want to show you, or I'm going to show up like this, but you don't have the decency to do that to me. And it's scary, but I know that there are men out there that want to show up for us and be in our lives the right way. But the niggas that have done it in our past have not given us the opportunity to feel like that it could be optimistic. And I know we have to give it to ourselves, but I know once you get punched and put, like, not literally, but like figuratively, once you keep getting let down, the bar is low, you know, and for the next guy that comes in, it's not fair to him, but you just have to be honest. Like I tell guys, like, I am very guarded.
And if you want to get to know me, be patient.
Be patient. Like it's not going to be a walk in the park. I will tell you my past. You okay, sister?
I am. I remember that wanting to set the pace had become an issue for some people. Have tried to convince me that I'm wrong.
Yeah.
For wanting to move slowly. And now that I think about the men who have tried to convince me of that, they were totally wrong for me. I mean, one of them is being indicted, and the other one is like a lunatic.
It's because they didn't want you to get to know them. So they were trying to expedite it so that there could be some blurs or some hiccups. Because if you take your time, you're setting a pace that is healthy.
Yes.
And it is comfortable, and you're being able to weigh your options. If somebody is rushing you to get into a relationship, they're obviously hiding something that they know would be the end all be all if you took the time to see it. Like that's a red flag to me, is if you're trying to rush this. You know, like me, I like to be in relationships because I love love. Don't mean I want to be married by tomorrow. No. But like I love love. That now there's other guys, they are hiding it because they want to be controlling. They want to have complete manipulation over you. They want to rush into it so like they can give you an excuse. So I get it. And you are not wrong for taking time, because it is you're in the relationship as well. And the right person who wants to get to know you and who wants to be with you will take that time because they respect that trust is earned and not given.
Thank you. I do have to ask you one closing question for.
Yeah.
Do I read as a person who's easily manipulated?
No, I
These
think you're
niggas is
very
dumb.
sweet. What I say
Oh.
is you are very. I think the thing about me and you is we are not afraid to lean into our emotions. We are not afraid to let our emotions lead us. And we are not afraid to love. And I think that that is very uncomfortable for most men who have not grappled with that yet. We are very transparent with who we are. We know what we want. We know what we've been through. We know how we're going to get it. And I think that some people think that that means that they can like take things that we are honest about or very much, truthful about and use it against us, which we are very smart people. That's what I was saying to you earlier. I was like, yes, we're going to say some things, but we're not going to give you the whole tea. We're going to open up. We're not going to open up a lot because we are giving you enough to see what you're going to do with it.
Absolutely.
Because we've been in these spaces, so I don't think that you're easy manipulative. I think people think that you are because you're self-aware. And I don't get why they think that because they should be scared of that because you are self-aware. So, yeah, but want to wrap up. I know we can get into this and go into part 2, but I want to, before we close out, what advice would you give to men, queer men, struggling with trust issues in relationships?
Don't force yourself to trust a man you don't feel safe with. I've run into this feeling where I'm like, oh, I must be feeling the wrong thing. Trust your intuition. I've told y'all repeatedly, trust your intuition about people. If you are not trusting a person because your intuition is telling you not to, believe that. Excuse me, but that also just means that you need to like stop dealing with that person. It can be difficult to let people go, but don't be afraid of that. You're in it for you. You're in it for your benefit and for hopefully, if that's what you want, a long-term relationship. So if someone doesn't feel safe, they can't be conducive to that. Just be honest about what you want with every person to see what aligns. Be honest about what makes you feel good and what doesn't make you feel good. Because like, yes, dating is really difficult, but like it's going to be more difficult if you are sacrificing your needs to make something fit that doesn't have the right parts.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think for me is no one's obligated to you, like I said earlier, but people who genuinely want to be there for you will lean in and show up for you. And then another thing that I've really, really leaned into, and I don't know if I've said this yet, is in order for a man to write his story with you in it, you have to allow him to write that story on his own. So you have to be okay with this person not putting you in their picture, or you might not be the priority, and you need to know when to walk away. And you also need to know that it is okay to place a boundary or place these effective ways to be able to articulate trust or communication, because that will be the key indicator of if this is something that could be healthy and long term. And always remember that you have power. Like, it hurts and it's scary to like think that this person is manipulating you, but you have to make that decision. And I know some of us don't want to make the decision because it makes us have to shed light on things, but nobody has power over you. You have power over yourself. And you need to know that it is okay to walk away if this person is not showing signs of trust. Because in the future, there will be somebody that will show you that you deserve all of this attention and all of this communication. So, ooh, sister. A lot of emotions on my end. I want to be honest. I have a lot of harm and scars and wounds from it. But I do believe that the future of trusting men will get better for me because I'm starting to have a little bit more clarity.
I think I've discovered that I'm no longer operating in my romantic life with feeling. It is now completely in my head. So I have a lot of repairing to do in that. I am not currently leading with my heart while dealing with men. I am 100% in my head. I think that was indicated by the headache I got just thinking about them niggas.
Yeah.
So I either need to go back to therapy. Well, I need to do that anyway. I need to talk about my romantic life with a therapist and figure out the best ways to get out of my own way, because I am really, really ready to find the partner that I will spend the next 5 to 10 plus years with. And I'm really tired of playing games about it.
I agree. I mean, therapy is, I think, a man's best friend, and I think all men need to lean into it to establish their trust. So thank you, sister, so much for leaning to that. I know this is a heavy conversation. I know it's a lot of emotion, but I think this is great for our listeners. Thank you all for listening to this episode. Tell our listeners where they can check in with you and talk to you, sister, on your socials.
You guys can follow me on Threads and Instagram at DERWINKING. That's Derwin King. I finally, officially, it is done, deleted my ex. It is not.
You no longer have ex?
I do not have it.
Wow, that's another episode for next week.
Officially deleted it. It is gone. So Free Negro is no more. I am liberated from the cesspool that is for the app formerly known as Twitter. Okay, well, like you hear, he said it. Threads and Instagram. You all can hit me up on all social medias, including X, even though I don't really be on it, at _Lord Every. That is _LORD EVERY. You all can also hit us up on Instagram for the podcast at ThatBlackBoyJoy Pod. You also can listen to us on YouTube at ThatBlackBoyJoy. You can hit us up in our Gmails at ThatBlackBoyJoyPodcast@gmail.com. You can also hit us up on Twitter, X, at ThatBlackBoyJoy Pod. Please also subscribe, review, comment, all of those things. We want to know if you that you are listening. We want to know you all's thoughts, what topics you want to hear from us. We really appreciate it. And like we always tell you all, please be so in love with who you are. Bye. Ooh.